You can have $1 billion brand with $3 in the bank.
He said, this is going to be the biggest thing the bread industry ever experienced in a long time, like basically since sliced bread.
Try everything and you'll start to learn what really works and what resonates with your audience and with the people that really buy into what you do.
If you don't love your brand first, then how can you get anybody else to love your brand?
The story of your brand, the story, the purpose, why you're doing what you're doing, people are going to really, gravitate to that. That's what I believe people really want.
In times where I couldn't provide and it's not because I'm broke, it's because I couldn't afford to pull money out of the company. People got to realize, this is not a passion of ours. It was an issue that we discovered that we decided to act on.
Was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And this is a very special episode. We had to bring some big dogs here, okay? Let's talk about $50 million evaluation.
Nice.
Let's talk about the first and the only right now, Black-owned sliced bread company. Come on. And we're going to get in their business as far as their brand, how they got together, everything. Moose, who we talking about?
Yeah, we were just behind the scenes chopping it up with them, and they seemed to ready to bring on some big time game. We got the co-founder and founder of the Black Bread Company, as Nicky mentioned, Jamel Lewis and Mark Edmond. Y'all, this gonna be dope.
Let's get into this intro.
2 kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never before seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
And of course, this episode is powered by Ecamm Live, the #1 all-in-one streaming platform that not only allows you to stream on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it, all the social media platforms. But from a pre-recording side, just like how we do this podcast, it allows you to do video isolation, audio isolation, text, transitions, you name it, to have an amazing production. And we're giving away 14 days for free, okay? With www.nickyandmoose.com/Ecamm, ECAMM, okay, for the 14-day trial on us. Now, I love me some bread. Real quick backstory before I go in on this, right? So I think we met Mark. Of course, we met Mark and through ET, right? And I hounded him. I actually hounded the whole company, right? On some, I didn't get no bread. How does E get bread? How does Alex get bread? How does all these other people bread? I ain't get no bread. Of course, They said bread.
Hey.
And when I say some of the firest bread, sliced bread that I've had, sheesh. And y'all know I don't lie about food. I don't lie about food. I'm too chubby to lie about food. I'm too chubby to lie about food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these two guys are super amazing. The Black Bread Co. has been making waves. They went on Ellen. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about this. Let's just bring them in. Let's bring my guys in.
Yeah.
What's poppin'?
What's going on?
If for those people in the video land, right? They have these fire merch. They got this jacket that I already hounded them about, gear and everything like that. Yeah. They're more than bread. They're more than bread right now. I just wanted to talk about it. But how are you guys feeling?
Man, we feeling good, man. Blessed to be here for sure.
Feeling great. Yeah. Excited to be with y'all too, of course, and the people.
Go. Yeah. Let's go. Move. Start us off.
Yeah, this is gonna be dope, man. And we talked about it for the couple people who were just laying under the rock somewhere. I don't know what they got going on, but for those who don't know about y'all, man, give us a quick backstory about you guys and of course the Black Bread Co.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What's going on, y'all? My name is Mark Edmond, CEO, founder of the Black Bread Co. And how it started was in 2020, around the George Floyd situation that was happening. The city was hot. We from Chicago. And it was my personal protest to just actually go in and just buy and support Black-owned brands, right? I was extremely intentional, as I try to be. And I went directly to the bread aisle because my wife brought this list out. Bread was the first thing on the list. And I was in this aisle for about 45 minutes just Googling Black-owned bread companies, just trying to see, like, do we have a Black-owned bread company? Do we have a CEO? Anything of that nature? I couldn't find anything. So after that, I left the store completely. When I left, I called my friend Jamel and I was like, yo, we don't have no black bread. We got to do something about that. We don't have a company, a black bread company to even support. And obviously I didn't buy anything from the store. I went to home after that. And that's really where the Black Bread Co. started. That's where it was born at. Jamel was basically like, yo, if you rocking, I'm rolling. you know and we took a year to just do research and discover and figure out what it is that we need to do, because when I made that phone call, it wasn't a phone call to kind of just talk about and have a conversation. It was a call of action. I think that's extremely important. And we acted immediately. And from there we ended up going live. After a year, we did. We going live. We didn't have any followers because we didn't tell anybody about this idea or this company that we starting. Until we went live. And then I'm talking about, we had 0 followers on Instagram, Facebook. By the end of this live, we had over 20,000 on Facebook, 20,000 on Instagram, and it went viral instantly. I'm talking about like 30 within 30 days of us launching, we was on the Ellen DeGeneres show. So it sparked fire immediately. National attention. Every store in the country, is reaching out, trying to partner with us or, sell our product, our bread, and at the time, we brand new. So we just starting off. So we wanted to kind of make sure that we was very strategic on our growth. We didn't want to grow too fast and kind of have that balloon effect and pop, so we was, slowly building our company, so we had to, push a lot of those companies, to the back burner. Of course we kept the relationships, but we wasn't going to allow anybody to just kind of like, sink our ship. So, we really took our time to kind of, go with who we can go with. That's the easiest for us.
From 0 followers, you spoke my language. 0 followers to like 10. We're going to talk about that later. Okay, I'm trying
all
to
organic. Yeah.
See,
Unbelievable.
Stop saying trigger words for me. Like I have a whole,
It happens.
I have a whole questionnaire situation going on now. Here's my thing, right? So you went from, all right, my wife told me get some bread. There ain't no bread. And my guy, we're going to start a bread company. And he said, all right, bet, let's do that.
Thanks.
And like, but now, how did that happen? Like, what is the first thing that you do? Like, how much money do you have to put down on this thing? Like, I don't think people really talk about that. I think it's like, I came up with an idea and now you see the best parts of it. Like, we see pictures of you in the packaging the stuff, putting it out, shelf work, all that great. But can we talk about the how? Like, and don't give me Google. Don't do that. Don't give me Google. It can start with Google.
It started with Google.
No, it can start with Google. I'm cool with Google, but like, give me like the super tangible. All right, here's one thing, 2 things you have to do. Because granted, you got to get inside the university. I already know that.
Like
University.
Yeah, but talk to the people.
Nicky, it starts inside of you. It's in you. It's not on you. So like at the end of the day, our start began, probably since we were born. It started with who we are as people and our just the things that we were led to. I was led to marketing and branding, originally being a music recording artist. Mark has always had that entrepreneurial spirit and energy and all of the things that he usually puts together, whether it be real estate, construction, so on and so forth. So even upon getting that first phone call and my experience with Black Bread Co. is really like all of the things that we had done leading up to that and before that, not knowing that this was even a thing, it actually led us and pushed us into this. I had no idea that marketing and branding my own, as a solopreneur, my own endeavors would lead me to actually when I got that phone call, I was able to say, okay, I'm rocking, I'm rolling, because I knew what to do. I knew I could take some of the skills and some of the things that I was doing to brand and promote my own music and putting together shows and events and things like that on my own. I knew I could use those skills. I had been traveling, I had been touring, I had been doing different things. So actually just taking some of those pieces from those different areas of my life that I had already known, I was able to use them as transferable skills toward this company. So we knew. So for example, even when you say, okay, how did it even happen? With no following, with no money in the bank, so to speak, it happened because ultimately, when we got to the point we got our first samples, right? We got a sample order. We gave it to close family members, and we also gave it to kind of influencers that we kind of knew would eventually help us push the brand when we launched. What happened is one of our family members got the product and she posted it intentionally because she knew we had been working behind the scenes. We didn't expose the brand for about a year, right? So we were working behind the scenes, getting the legal things in order, all of that. So by the time she made the post, she knew we were ready. We weren't going to push the button, so to speak, but she knew we were ready. Yeah. So just knowing what we did know, knowing what I knew, it was just like, yo, well, since people know we exist, let's go live. Let's get in front of the people. Let's just talk and let's really, really see what we have. You know what I mean?
Hold up.
Yeah.
How did we get the sample? Where did you go for the sample? Like, I could just, who do I got to call to be like, yo, I'm going to do bread right now. Like,
so,
where did that come from?
For sure. I could talk about the physical part. So as far as like the actual bread, I think the first thing you got to know that's important is, know what you know and know what you don't know. Right? You got to be honest with yourself, in any business endeavor that you want to go into, so I know I'm not a baker, right? So I know I'm not going into a kitchen and trying to figure out how to bake bread and things of that nature. These are things that we know. And then we also got to look at the fact of the time frame that it was in. It was in 2020. Everything is shut down. You know what I'm saying? So like trying to get a face-to-face meeting with a manufacturer or a co-packer, and if people that don't know, a co-packer is basically a manufacturer that can make your bread for you and package it for you, so it's ready to sell, right? And normally they can do it at scale. So if I need 100,000 loaves of bread, they can make 100,000 loaves. If I need 1,000, they can do that as well. And so it took me, quite a while. That's why it took us a year. Like we keep saying, it took us a year of planning, because it took that long to kind of get in contact with a certain number of co-packers, bread co-packers. So I think I probably called every bread company in the country, and out of all the bread companies in the country, really only like 3 or 4 responded. So I took the 3 or 4 and I picked the best of the 4 that it was, right? And then at that point, we was linking up with different chefs and different things of that nature. We're helping us, with recipes and, what to expect, when making bread and taste and things of that nature. We've been eating bread over all our lives. So we knew what we wanted. We knew how, we want the high quality. If somebody making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the peanut butter with the nuts in it, we didn't want our bread breaking, the crunchy stuff, right? We didn't want you to be poking holes in the bread. So we knew we wanted that sturdy structure. At the same time, we wanted to taste clean, and more importantly, we wanted to taste fresh. Like that was our biggest thing. And so obviously the fresher your bread is, the more healthy your bread is, the shorter lifespan that bread has. So even from the beginning for us, we took a big hit at the very beginning, because instead of having bread that can last 30 days or 2 months and things of that nature, our bread only lasts in like 10 days or 5 days, just a few days, right? So when we finally sat down with the co-packer, we expressed to him, what we wanted to do. And at first, the guy was thinking about it, and he, he was, white guy at the table with some black guys, and and he's like, I've been doing this for 40 years plus, and this is the first time I ever sat down with people of color
Right.
and talking business about bread. He said,
Wow.
this doesn't exist in this industry.
Let's go.
So he said, I'm not sure if it's going to work. And then he sat back and said, you know what? You guys can go from this to this overnight. He said, it's going to be the biggest thing, the bread industry ever experienced in a long time, like basically since sliced bread, right? Which we invented that machine that sliced the bread, right?
Facts.
Yeah, man. Bro, like African Americans is so talented. A lot of times we build and invent equipment and machineries and then get kicked out the industries. That's just the reality of it, Anyway, so when we sat down, we went over the ingredients and we went over, that they actually started, getting ready to prepare it. They brought a cook in and it was like, can we do this? He was like, yeah, we can do this. It shouldn't be a problem. And basically we placed our first order, for the sample runs. So we ordered 100 loaves of bread. And the plan with the 100 loaves of bread was pass out to everybody we know. This is our introduction to our family, our friends, people who we care about. And that's exactly what we did. So we got the 100 loaves. That's the first time my father ever heard about the company. That's the first time, my brother ever heard about it. So these are like close people that we did not say anything about, and that's really exactly how we started. So that's how we got those samples.
Yeah, that's dope. And I bet it's a lot easier to get people to believe into what you're building and want to work with you when they now have a physical representation of that idea in their hand. Did you guys have to raise any money? What went into that startup phase of, okay, we know we got a big mission ahead of us now. Was there any raising of money or funds, or how did that go?
2020 pandemic? No. It was our savings. We pulled together our resources and our savings within our
and I tell y'all, man, we not rich, So at that time, like we had $15,000. That's how much we started with, And on the day we went live, that Nicky is talking about, after the lawyer fees and accountings and getting everything in order and packaging and manufacturing, we literally had $1.87 in our business bank account, which was our savings, right? Left. Meaning, like, when we was on that live, it's like, yo, this gotta work.
It's got.
Wait, first of all, you're not gonna speed past that. Like, you didn't just say what you just said.
Yeah.
What?
It had to work, and at this time, like, we were starting this company. So within this year, I actually quit my job. Like, I had a 6-figure job. I was a superintendent for a construction company here in Chicago. I quit that job because I'm like, I got to focus on this bread industry. Jamel actually lost his job, because he's an artist. So, they wasn't having big entertainment. So he wasn't having events, so we didn't have income coming in for us. So people look at our story and look at us and think that it's easy because you see the highlights. This has been one of the roughest times in my life.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of the most challenging times. I grew more in the last 3 years than I grew in the last, 37 years I've been alive. And because it's so much pressure that that we went through. It's so much, fighting that we go through. Even today, we fight against different store management, like, so like a manager of a grocery chain. The chain love us,
Right.
but then you have individuals who run these stores that's not fans. And so what do they do when they're not fans of your brand because you named your company the Black Bread Company?
Right.
Like, now bread's not selling, or they putting bread to the side and people going in, and we got pictures, we got videos of our bread been pushed in the back and hidden and next to,
In the back by the pork chops.
Yeah, by the pork chops. Like who buy bread next to the pork chops? You know, so so I mean, people, these are like untold stories, that we deal with, on a regular and on a daily, and we're fighting every day, what I'm saying, to even keep the brand alive, because it's extremely expensive, and so when we fast forward past, when we went live, we was able to make a lot of money. Jamel made sure that by the end of that live, he was actually making our website during that live.
Wow.
So we live streaming, we showing people, we talking to the people. Jamel mindset at the time was like, we got to have an action step. So we're not going to reel in all these people, and we got all these people, thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands of people tuning in right now, and we're not going to have anything for them to buy.
That's because that moment is only going to happen once. You only get one first impression. You only get one introduction. So we needed something. Honestly, we only had a sample of bread. We had 100 loaves, so it wasn't like we was going to be selling bread, but we needed something tangible that we can, of course, gather emails, get people's information. Yeah. We got them excited.
Okay. See, now you're triggering. You're triggering. I had this later.
Wow.
Okay, we're here. That's just me. Fine. No, we're here. I'm here with this. Okay. I can't contain myself no more. I tried. Okay. So look, let's talk about the live. You're here. We're talking about the live. Yes. The fact that you just said that you made the website while the live was happening. Okay, let's talk out this pre-sale. Let's talk out this live. One, did you already have in mind like an outline of, okay, what am I going to say and do on this live? Two, how did you build this website? Okay, because the people want to know if you did it right then and there. What platform? How, was it simple? Was it a straight up template? Boom, buy. Right. And then what was happening after this live? Right.
So again, it's $1.87 in account. So we have what we have, right? Right. So shout out to shout out to Shopify for the free trial and $1
free 14-day trial.
Hey, shout out to Shopify.
Yeah. We've been rocking ever since. Again, just having that history. I've built sites, I've done it, and we didn't have that much time because it was already in the air. It had already been posted. So the post was going crazy, right? And if you think about it, in our minds, it's like, we don't have much. So we gotta strike while the iron is hot. We gotta go. Because you'll look up and, maybe another businessman or businesswoman or company or entity will see this and be able to have the resources to jump on it. So it was like, we kind of gotta go. At this point, we gotta go. So just knowing what I knew was like, man, we had to have something tangible for people to take to. It's cool to make an announcement and say, hey, we're the first black bread company, but how? To your point, where's the product? Where is this and that? So we basically just did direct to consumer pre-sale, the pre-sale model. We were able to collect the orders from the people that were online. We were able to place the order. We had, what is like a 7-day turnaround for the product. So, we mapped that out within our messaging so that, everybody was excited. They knew, what they were getting into. It wasn't like you was going to order it and get it the next day. You knew it was a pre-order. You knew you were first, actually to get in line for products. So it really taught us a lesson. It taught me a lesson in being in position, the importance of being in position. Don't worry. It's not a worry about what you don't have. We didn't have money, but we had, it starts in your mind. It's like if you in a hole, if you in a jam, if you're trying to figure something out, it's not a physical thing. It's not, I need some money to do this, or I need somebody to help me do that. Look at yourself and look at what you have and what you bring to the table. So me personally, I was able to say, yeah, it's cool to do the live. I didn't even tell, nobody even knew. So we're about 20 minutes into the live expressing our, who we are and the goal that we had. And I was just like, yo, matter of fact, I'm watching all of the people jump in. And I was like, y'all can go to blackbreadco.com right now, pre-order the bread.
He surprised me on the live.
And by how did you get 10,000 people. Like, did you encourage people to continue to share? Like, was
God
it just the
did.
fact?
You know,
He said God did.
God did. No.
I love
So
it.
honestly, to me, that's part of being in position. It's like
yeah.
your obviously when Mark called me, my mission was to create and build a brand
Yeah.
around what he presented me. And shout out to Nicky and Moose, because what he presented me was deeper than a brand. So at the end of the day, it really just came, it comes down to your initial thought. What is it that you are you trying to create? You have to focus on solving a problem and influence them in a market. So at the end of the day, what he presented to me was enough for people to grab a hold to and come in on their own, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? So even with that being the case, that we went and was able to like get so much attention so fast, I'm looking up now in hindsight, 3 years later, it did make a difference. We still weren't able to skip any steps. We still got the growing pains. We still got the, you know what I mean? So whether your business or your brand starts a fire automatically, or if it takes a year, 2 or 3 years to even get attention, you really got to be locked into what you have and be willing to go on that journey and continue to add value and bring value to a market or to an industry. And that's going to make the difference. People, now in our case, people were able to see it automatically. People were able to tap into the vision automatically. Oh, even in the name, if you never heard of it, and you send this, you look up on your page and somebody saying we the first black bread company, people automatically sharing it. Yes, we were doing those drops of make sure you share this live and so on and so forth, but it really was just in the sauce. It was in the cards for that to happen for us. Like I said, in the end, we had to still grow and learn over time. But you have what you have, man. You have all you need. Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another biggest thing we did was obviously we went live on both platforms. So we had two phones that we was on as well. So it wasn't like go live once on Facebook and then repost it to Instagram or vice versa. So I think that was also a gem, is at the same time we have both platforms going on. So people are seeing it twice, because sometimes if you get a ding on your Facebook account and you already watching on your Instagram account, that's going to make you want to share it even more, because it's the popular hot thing right now, you know. And one thing that you could give to the people love being first to tell other people good news about something that they discovered. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole, you know what I'm saying, mic situation. The reason why you like mics is because it's certain shoes that you can have that everybody don't have. That exclusiveness, you know, that I was on it and you wasn't, you slept on it, and now I have these pair of mics. You know, it's that type of feeling that, you know, we want to make sure that we gave, you know, our audience.
Yeah. What I love about what you guys did.
I never heard Jordan's called mics. That's a different one. Go ahead, Moose. I never heard.
Chicago, man.
Jordan's called mics. That is a Chicago thing. Probably they call him by the first name. You got some mics? What?
Yes. Yeah, man. We call them mics up here, man.
Thanks.
I love it. I love it. No, what I love about it is that the concept and the idea is just so fundamental, right? Like, funny enough, I don't know a lot of people know this, but the first business I ever was a part of was a bread business. My father had a bread route here in the city. Yeah, my uncle still is in that business. So I'm actually very familiar with a lot of what you guys are talking about, ironically enough. But to your point, it's so fundamental that a lot of people from our communities overlook it unless you had some insider knowledge to here's how it works. So it's cool that you guys started there. But let's talk about the scale of the operation now, because, you know, you go from zero to a couple tens of thousands basically in a matter of 30 days. And there's a lot that you now have to scale and build up. Can we talk about getting the team in place? Because it seems that each of you found your footing from day one. You know, Jamel on the branding and marketing side, Mark, you had the idea and really running the operation. Can we talk about what other pieces were necessary now to work through that and some of the lessons that came with it?
No, for sure, man. For us, man, at the time, man, our team was friends and family. You know, obviously, you know, you start at where you start at, you know, because at the beginning, your company don't have money to do these high payrolls, right? So, you know, if you can't afford to go out and say, hey, here's a job listing and it's paying $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, the next best thing to do is to hire your friends, your brothers, your close friends, friends of the family, people who don't mind just coming to help you because they want to see you win. And at the beginning, it was so just fun and exciting, that everybody we knew wanted to just kind of see us win. They want to see the company win. They want to be, a part of the story and help get the company further. So we was able to hire friends and family, and then we eventually got connected with a company that did interns. So we was able to get different interns. At a time we have 4 or 5, 6 interns at a time. That we was able to kind of like hire, bring on, and teach them the business. And at the same time, we're teaching them, the importance of startups. We let them listen into conversations with buyers. We let them, kind of get hands on with spreadsheets and different things of that nature, and at the same time packing bread. So they was getting something out of the internship, and it was accredited internship, and then we was getting something out of it as well, because we was getting help. And for us, our company took a turn where, all these major companies want to carry our product and push out of Chicago. So it was kind of like getting, what I'm saying, got this national presence because by us having the online, we was able to ship all over the place. We was getting, orders from Japan and Africa and, what I'm saying. So we shipping internationally, right? And that was fine. But the issue was it took me 8 months to find a company that can move bread. So as you know, you got experience on a bread route. It takes special, like knowledge to move bread because bread is you got to move it quick. It can smush, it can smash. You got these bread trays, and those bread trays need to come back, right? So it's not even like just a regular box where I give you the box, you do what you want to do with the box. Those bread trays is extremely expensive. They like $20, $30 a piece, So you want to bring that. And so it took us 8 months to kind of just discover, or find a company that's able to help us move our bread. Because to your point, one thing that we didn't know about the bread industry was bread companies move their own bread. We was taking the approach of any other company where you hire a distribution company, they come to the warehouse, you load their truck up, they go deliver your product. But bread was different. So a lot of bread companies, a lot of distribution companies did not deal with that. So we ended up hooking up with this company, GFI, who actually was able to take our bread and help us scale on a much larger basis, and give us that support. So sometimes as a smaller company, we got to look at these larger companies that's willing to help, and try to take advantage of that help as much as we can. And that kind of really helped us, scale. So now we have a co-packing company. So now we can get 100,000 loaves in 30 days if we needed to. And we have a distribution company that's able to move 100,000 loaves, and the percentages that they make off of the deals will be the percentages that they add on to whoever they're selling it to. So it's not costing us out of our pocket to pay them. Because money is extremely important. So one thing that we wanted to do when designing this business was stay as thin as possible until we can go into acquisition mode, because the point is to buy a existing bread company that already exists, add our brand in, absorb their brand, and able to make money off of our brand and their brand, which is now would be our brand, and we kind of build from the ground up, and so that's exactly so that's a lot more affordable than trying to build it from the ground up yourself, and a lot of times you get those grandfather licenses and certificates that's already in place for that particular company as well.
Big business talk. Big business talk.
Yeah. Let me get into the branding side.
Yeah.
Was this always the name? Because I think for me, I hear Black Bread Co. and I'm like, am I worried about being cornered? Right? Were there other names that you were kind of messing with? And then you were like, nah, we are him. So this is what we're calling us. So how was that selection made?
Yeah, to your point, Nikki, in the end, that's what it was. Like we are it. We are the first, and anybody else can take any other name they like, but we are the Black Bread Company. That's how it ended. How it started, we was out here talking about like melanin bread. It was all kind of random. Yeah, we had like
what? What was the corniest? What was the corniest?
We had like a Nubian. Right. We had like a Nubian queen with an afro on it. It was wild, we was designing stuff. It was wild.
They was super corny, man.
Yeah,
and it was wild. Because of the funny thing is, so our conversation was like, what do you name a Black Bread Company? Like that was our real question.
Right.
And then I'm like, dude, what do you name a Black Bread Company? It's the first ever African American owned sliced bread company. What do you name it? And so I kept saying Black Bread Company, and then Jamel was like, bro, that's it right there.
That's it.
I'm like, what? He like, the Black Bread Company.
Wow.
And when he said it back, I'm like, we all this time is right there.
That's usually how it is. The answer. Yeah, the answer you're looking for is right. Yeah, exactly. It's right in your face. Yeah.
I mean, and at the same time, for us, it was like it's a pride thing as well. We want to make it okay to be proud of who you are and to make it non-offensive. Meaning, like, is anybody here offended by say white bread or Italian bread?
No.
Or any other type of bread. If I say French fry, are you upset to say it's American? Potatoes is made here and in Idaho. Like what like you don't get offended with that.
Mm-hmm. Even just Black being a play on luxury. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We definitely within our business model, we wanted to be pretty much an affordable luxury brand. So it's like at the end of the day, what speaks luxury other than Black, or even how we did the Black and gold. It was like just we definitely wanted to present our being the first. It was like, even bro, I'm thinking about even the packaging that we had. We got some samples for packages, and I don't think we would be here today if we went with those packages.
No, those packages are trash.
So even that, we just knew like we needed to present something strong enough that fast forward when we get in stores and you may have store managers that don't properly handle your products, or even just our products sitting on the shelf and not even necessarily being advertised. The packaging and the brand in itself has to market itself. You know what I mean? So just something that we knew we could sit on the table and trust, or sit on the shelf on its own and trust that it would sell itself, that it would do the work. You know what I mean? That was it's supposed to do. Even that, we I was a little hesitant at one point when we had got some samples back of a package, and we was like, okay, we was trying to figure out how to make it work. And that was the first problem. We was trying to make we was trying to make ourselves like a particular package design that we had. Yeah. And I didn't want to, everything was going so well, with our planning. This is in our first year. And I didn't want to rock the boat, but I was at the same time, at the end of the day, I just had to stop. And I was like, man, we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to rethink this design. This is not it. Mark, when you presented this idea to me, you had a vision of it being, if you think about the upper echelon of people or influencers, you was like, man, it's got to sit on their tables, So for me, it was like that packaging that we had in the beginning, I can't put that on Jay-Z's.
No, break down the packaging. What did it look like? What was the colors? Because we see what it is now, but was it like
it was basic? It was literally like
a white bag.
It was a white bag with like blue words, and another one had red words. It was a generic.
It was generic. It was generic,
but it was clean though. So it would almost trick you at
He's
first.
Still trying to defend it. No, but it was clean. Hold on.
No, it was clean. So it's one of them bread brands. Was like, it's clean, and you'll pick it up, but you're not paying $3.99 for it. You know what I'm saying? If it was a $1.99 loaf, you'll pick it up.
It was just a bag of bread, Nicky.
It was a bag of bread. It wasn't nothing special about it. And that's when we was like,
you didn't. I would think you guys would go extravagant, like black and gold, purple, like all these different things to kind of like, okay, luxury but black. And I was like, that's what I thought your beginning stories would be, like the corny, typical luxury vibe. You went.
No, we did have a purple bag. We did have a bag that was purple.
We did have a purple bag. We did.
We did have one that was purple.
It was bad.
But to your point, that was so corny.
I'm so mad at his face. He was like, "It's so bad." I don't even want to talk about it.
It was bad. It was bad. Yeah,
Right.
it was real bad.
But now we got people holding bread up in the air, taking
Exactly.
pictures, it just had to be right. It just had to be right.
And
I'm
you know, I
with
feel like your brand has to fit you, right? You gotta love your brand. If you don't love your brand first, then how can you get anybody else to love your brand? You know, when you see it, it gotta be an automatic love. You just know when you know.
Yep.
You know, don't force things. Don't try to rush things, because when we was trying to rush and force, that's when we was having them really whack bags. Because it's like, oh man, we got to do this. Let's do it. We've been planning now for 8 months. You know, and we ain't got a packaging yet. We ain't got a bag yet. We don't have a design yet. And then you look up and like, nah, we can't rush this. And then when that bag came up, it was like, oh, that was it. At that point, I don't need to see no more. Like we knew it.
That's when you know.
We seen it.
That's
was
when
like,
you know.
hey, bro, I'll go put that bread in the White House. I'll put it anywhere. I give it to a prince in Saudi Arabia. Like it was just that.
I thought you were about to just say Prince. I was like, you gonna bring him back?
Hey, if he was here, I'd give him some bread too. I sent to the estate.
I love it. I love it. No, you know what's so cool though is that I'm listening to the essence of what you all are speaking to, and there's such discipline and patience there, because everything we hear today is about speed and urgency and kill and go and move. But you guys took a year to plan, and then even when you had the opportunity to scale, you brought that back. So I want to know what went into that decision to have big name stores knocking on your door, and you're saying, yeah, that's cool. Let's talk, but we're not gonna go full blown just yet.
You know what? You are only as strong as your foundation. You know, you got to make sure that you plant your feet down on solid ground, solid foundation before you jump. You know, if you're not prepared to do business with these super conglomerate, these legacy companies, you got to really slow down, because they can take advantage of you. You know, they can take your brand from you. They can steal your brand from you. You know, they would have your brand doing what they want, and it's not your vision. You know, it's not your mold. You know, at some point we have to kind of bring it back and realize, especially today, you know, it's 2023, the power of direct to consumer that we have. We don't need these companies. We do not need these big box store brands, because the truth of the matter is they closing stores like left and right. They might not be around in the next 10 years. So you want to go around and spend all this money and putting all your eggs in their basket, and you have no control over or what they do, or if they get canceled, or if this happens, because they're a big box brand. You know, we can scale and sell to our audience, our core, you know, ourselves. And you can scale that, and that's going to be a lot more sustainable. It's going to feel better for you, and you have more control of your product. You have more control of your delivery, of your methods, and what you want to do. You know, if I want my bread to be displayed in a certain manner, I'm able to display it in that manner without somebody saying, "Oh, we don't put banners in our stores," or we don't do that, and we can't do this. And now you're telling me I can't do what I need to maximize the sale of my product, and then want to come back to me upset that my sales is not what you want my sales to be, but you're not allowing what works for my brand to work.
Because it was a setup in the beginning.
It was a setup from the beginning. A lot of companies want to say they're doing business with you, but they're not truly supporting you.
All business is not good business.
All business is not true business, you know, and so we gotta just kind of take that back. I'm honored and extremely excited, and I thank God that we was able to get the attention of, should I say, it was a major company. I say the biggest bread company in the world. Within the first 2 months of our existence, was trying to buy us. You know, and even now, like
how many zeros? We got a lot of zeros on that one.
You know, it was quite a bit. I think it was around like was it 25 or 27? I think it was like 27 million that they had offered us
in 2 months. And you said,
it was like 27 million that they offered us within like the first 2 months.
Yeah.
wow.
And obviously we could have sold and moved around, but it wasn't about that. You know, like you stick to the core mission, man. I'm not selling my soul.
Thank you.
I'm not selling out, you know, and not saying I would never sell. It's part of business. Exit strategies is part of good business. However, it has to be right. You know, it has to be. I'm not going to sell something where I'm going to allow another company to take advantage of my core audience because I don't think that's fair for my audience. You know, when instead of the 27 million, I could say, hey, bro, we can just make a solid $2 or $3 million a year for the next 10 years and grow that and be in much more control and much more, you know, like I said, put better products here. You know, right now we're trying to clean our bread even cleaner. Like we trying to make our bread better, trying to make the product better. You know, I'm working on something now where I'm trying to bake it and sell and send it to you the same day or the next day because I'm trying to figure out that give you some bread that only lasts like 3 days, 4 days, you know, and give you that option. If you receive it today and it goes bad tomorrow and you don't use it, that's not on me. That's on you but you want healthier options. And I want to be able to give you that healthier options without the excuses of, oh, it went bad. It went bad because it's a natural bread. You know, people want natural bread, but then they want the convenience to use the product when they want to use the product.
Right.
And I think that's just a conversation that people got to have with themselves and just be honest and say, like, what is it that you really want? You know, so that's kind of what I'm working on, where I could bake the bread today, send it out the same day that you order the bread, you know, where you're going to have like that 3 or 4 days before it start turning, you know, to utilize it. So
That's fire. Okay, so I want some smoke real quick. If you were in a bread competition right now, if there was a huge bread, you against everybody, where would you rank yourself? And then who would be the bottom two? Because I already know you're going to say one.
Exactly. Well, obviously we're going to be number one.
At the top, it's just us.
And I'm going to say this to be honest, like people eat our bread to this day and they say this is the first time they ever had fresh bread in their life.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And this is bread. So I would say a number two would probably be a Sara Lee. Right? And honestly, we've been whooping on Sara Lee for so long.
That's more of a branding thing,
because
bro.
they won't smoke. They can have
the
smoke.
product is okay. That's more of a branding thing.
Listen,
break down the branding thing. Hold on. Why you think?
I'm saying you say Sara Lee to me in a synonymous way. I will give them all the credit on that. If you think of a sliced bread, a honey wheat bread, or so on and so forth, they are the first name that might come to your mind. The product for me is okay.
Yeah. No,
so if you put the whole thing together, okay, yes, okay, I'm going with that number two. That's cool.
Exactly.
Product ain't matching up with us.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's a lot of bread companies, man. Because I like what's that? The one is Browns.
Brownsberry.
I think Brownsberry, they have a pretty good bread. I'm not sure if they're national yet, though.
I rock with their brand.
I think Brownsberry. Have y'all heard of Brownsberry?
Nope.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if they're national.
I heard of you and Sara Lee. That's it.
What about is it Dave's or
Dave's
Mike's?
Killer? Dave's Killer Bread.
Dave's Killer Bread. Y'all heard of Dave's Killer Bread?
I heard of them. I heard of them.
So maybe we give Dave Killer Bread number two. You know, because they doing a thing. You know.
Yeah.
However,
it's the face. It's like I gotta say something else.
Yeah. Because I mean, here's the thing though. Like, because to your point, like the biggest brands in the world, when we go to a certain store, you know, all of a sudden their bread becomes, you know, from $3.99, $4.99 to $1.29.
I've never seen bread buy one get one free.
When have you ever seen that? Yep. Like you never seen that until our bread hit the shelf. And the reason being because they can't sell bread until our bread sells out. And that's been we got receipts. Like that's been a situation, you know, and it's messed up because
we got the people, y'all.
Yeah, it's
Shout out to the people.
It's messed up because, you know, they go in and lower they bread to $1.59, knowing that we can't compete with that. You know, so but yet they still can't sell the bread, you know, until we sell. You know, and so I would say that, man, and hey.
Okay. You said what you said. You said what you said.
I said what I said. I'm standing on it.
Listen, but I got an actual question. That was just I want some smoke question. I got an actual question. So after the live, right? Because now we see you were on Ellen, you got contracts here and there. I'm hearing you on cruise ships soon, all that. But can we talk about the promotion? Like, okay, cool. The live happened. Great. Now, was there ads? Was there social media posts? Was there influencer marketing? Was there it just happened organically? God got me. Like, how are we still putting it out on the streets? Was it you in the trunk here? I'm giving out bread to all these people. Like, I need to know how it got this big.
Nicky, it's almost like you were there. the way you're talking. You know what? Because it was a mixture of all of that. I really had to focus in on my position to kind of even just make sure that while we did have this organic fire, and I'm talking about it was a crazy fire. We went on a run of that first year. Like I said, the first month being Ellen, then it went from that to shout out to Ricky Smiley for showing us so much love. So we actually still had that online presence through things like that. Start meeting guys along the way and great people like, you know, E.T., y'all whole team, you know, so on and so forth. And that gave us a nice pushes along the way through that first year. Ultimately, I knew at a certain point we would need to pull the trigger and start running ads because we were direct to consumer, selling through Shopify, so on and so forth. So I knew that social media marketing was totally key for us. Even just the influence of the people was so huge, man. Staying on top of when people buy your products and they post a picture of it, or they use a hashtag, follow your hashtags for your brand. That was key. Email marketing. We ended up in our first year, we ended up building up an email subscriber list of maybe 40 to 50,000 in the first couple, you know, maybe 6 months. So that was huge, and that's been growing since, of course, and that's been a big leg for us. Ultimately, we got into if we were doing like live activations, we would do digital billboards in certain areas. So, you know, if we're example, shout out to InvestFest. We were at InvestFest last year. We'll be back this year, but last year we knew we were gonna have a booth and all that kind of stuff there. So we took out ads in Atlanta, you know what I mean, in that area around that time. You know, so just being creative and making sure there were times where it wasn't us. It was organic. You could open up your phone and you can go to Google and we were popping up. You know, just by the things.
The craziest one when he was on like Google, like first page.
Yes.
And like it was just like in rotation.
Yeah. So facts. So even just staying active, and it took everything. It takes everything. You know what I mean? And you'll find those go-tos for your brand and for your business. Like I said, I knew anytime I would put an email blast out, I kind of got to the point where I knew on the back end what the type of data was going to come back. I knew after a while. I knew, you know, when we needed to run a billboard ad. You start kind of knowing, you know, learning and understanding your brand more along the way. But it was all of those things. So you got to, to me, I would say, man, try everything, and you'll start to learn what really works and what resonates with your audience and with the people that really buy into what you do. And then it's content, obviously. The way I ain't gonna be on here and not mention content. That's definitely been honestly, that's even how we got into podcasting and all that. Just, you know, even just wanting to connect further and deeper with our core audience and have that, you know, those conversations and people be able to be up to date with what's going on, where we are, how we're doing it, because people are really buying into the why. You know what I mean? The product is great. You know, the packaging is great. All of those things are nice. You know, the branding, all of those things are great. But people now, it's like we want to connect. It's like, why am I buying this? Why am I buying into this? What is the purpose behind what you're doing? That's how you can easily walk away from somebody trying to buy your company for 27 M's and you 2 or 3 months in. You can walk away from that because you know it's not aligned at that time with our purpose and why we started this. That's why I can say, hey, yo, you know what? Scratch those designs. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to start from scratch because what we have doesn't align with, originally what we said this brand was for. There's a picture of a young lady. This was early on in the grocery store. She's in the store with her mom or her grandma, and she's smiling, holding a loaf of our bread. And she's maybe 5 or 6 years old. And Mark says it all the time. That's why we started this. That's why we're doing this. So the more you express, the story of your brand, the story, the purpose, why you're doing what you're doing, people are going to really, gravitate to that. That's what I believe people really want. So even what Mark's saying, man, us even having a cleaner product and continuing to grow and continue to build, we want people to see that. We want people to understand that that's our purpose and that's our mission, and that's what you're buying. That's why our products may be $3 or $4 and another product may be $1.99, $2. They told us, oh, you can't sell, that bread's not going to sell for that amount. It's not going this, it's not going that. It's like, but you're not us. You don't know you don't know who we're serving. You don't know who we're selling to. You don't know who's buying into what we sell. You don't understand it. So even for you to try to buy my company, I can't let you have this because you can't sell this like I can sell this. I'm not selling a loaf of bread. You know what I'm saying? We are vision oriented. You know what I mean? So just keeping that in mind, do as much as you can. Try it all.
Hey, 3 years, a lot of skill, a lot of incredible things that you've accomplished. Were there any times where it was on the verge of going away? It's like, wow, we could have lost all of this.
Nah, absolutely, man. It happens all the time. Like I said, man, these last 3 years been the roughest that I have experienced. When you put everything that you have into your company, into your brand, even like on a personal scale, when I start this company, I had I was always in between a 759 and 820 credit score. You know what I'm saying? Like my truck I bought it with just, signing, right? And when I jumped into this, I mean, my score got knocked all the way down. I'm building it back up now. When money's coming in, can you imagine if you make 40, 50, 60, $100,000 in 30 days, but you can't pay yourself? You know what I'm saying? That's rough.
Over and over again.
It's rough. Shout out to my wife, because, she was, really helping us, hold it down for my family. And, when times where I couldn't provide and it's not because I'm broke. I mean, I'm earning cash flow, but it's because I couldn't afford to pull money out of the company, and of course, there have been times where we was able to pay ourselves, but, it fluctuates, like if you want to make, millions of dollars, it takes money to make money. You got to spend a couple $100,000 to get, to that M, and I would say for anybody who be honest with entrepreneurship, like I would be, is going to be, the craziest thing. Like you just got to take into consideration, it literally takes 5 to 10 years to build a brand, and we only, really 3 years in, so we still got a long way to go to continue to build this brand. And so we still got to put everything into this company, back into the company, and so it's good moments, where, hey, we can pay ourselves this month. And then there's moments where it's like, hey, you might not get another check for 6 months. It's been times where, we was almost ready to throw in the towel, where it just seemed like everything was just collapsing, and falling apart, and it's because of our audience. It's because of what we started that we continue to do it. People got to realize, like, this is not a passion of ours. It was an issue that we discovered that we decided to act on. That it's an issue that, we don't have, minority owned companies representing these major grocery stores. And it's so hard to support, minority companies like this, so it became a passion over time. But it's not like I got 15 or 20 things that I'm ready to do right now, that's not the Black Bread Company. and Jamel probably the same thing, because we are creatives naturally, and it's a lot of things that we actually naturally have passion for. Before I was doing this, obviously I was into construction. I built houses from the ground up. I worked for a developer. So construction, real estate, that's actually my passion. And this is not that, obviously. So it's difficult. It's trying. And people feel like sometimes money saves everything. Like, yo, if I just had 100,000, I'd be straight. Like, let me tell you, $100,000 is not a lot of money. It sounds crazy to even say it. I know. I come from the South Side of Chicago, where I thought, hey, $10,000 you was rich. But $100,000 in business in reality, can go away really quick. We was at a point where we was spending, $150,000, $200,000 a month, just trying to keep up. And that's why, Moose, it was so important for us always to scale back, because, we don't have $1 billion to go do business with, Walmart, Target, and, Publix or somebody else, because they got thousands of stores, which means they need thousands and thousands of loaves of bread, which means it's transportation to get the bread to them. You got to pay people to pack, to send, so you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to send bread for one order. We don't have orders that large, so it's like for one order, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. How many of those can you do? And then you don't get paid for 30 to 60, and some companies even 90 days out. So you got to have a reserve for at least 90 days where you got a couple $100,000 that you can dedicate per order before you even get that money to come back in.
Yeah.
And I think that's that people fail to realize that, and that's one reason why we scale back, where we even since stop selling our bread online for a moment. We had to stop because it was becoming just too much to do. It's like, yo, we can't do both right now. That's the reality. Either we can do big business, or we can do, still big business, but on our own, on grounds, and, trying to do both every time. Either online was cracking, stores was doing okay, but the stores is taking all the money that the online is bringing in. Then the online is up. Then the stores is up, but then the online is taking away bread. So it was always like all right, let's just focus on one thing, and let's get that completely solid, and then reincorporate it. So we in a interesting turning point now, where we're gonna go back to our basics and to our core, and get back online with our product, and actually start depending less on these.
I got a silly question, then I got a serious question. I got a silly question. So going off that, neither one of y'all had the passion of doing any type of bread stuff. What product did you guys suggest, both of you, like, yo, we should try this, and it was a trash idea? Think about, like, you brought it up. Now, granted, us creators thinks none of our ideas are trash.
Exactly.
So I get it. I get it. That's why, let me preface that. None of our ideas are trash, but we knew deep down inside that was not going to hit.
I would say what I suggested was some frozen dinners. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I was really like, I was on that for real. Like, I found a cold packer forum. Matter of fact, I got some.
We got some in the fridge.
I got some in the freezer right now.
They still in the freezer.
Hey, go grab one, bro. I still got one real. There's no cap. And it's really good. But I was like, you know what though, bro? I'm like, why are we selling Italian dishes? You know what I'm saying? like it's good concept. You know what I'm saying? Like the execution is fire. This one ain't even got here's one. So this one ain't even got the thing on it. So it's like, do we got one with the
Wait, is that
joint?
the one that you brought to InvestFest last year?
It is. Yes, you seen it last year at InvestFest.
Yeah. He's like, yo, I'm coming out with pasta. I was like, the bread, the black bread color is coming out with pasta? Like, We just
who
gonna
knows?
stay in the
probably
starchy
it probably
carbs
could do
area.
well.
That's what we're doing.
Exactly. It probably could do well, but it's just like it's an idea and it was an opportunity that we have, and it's kind of like the reality.
My man took the branding off. He's like, we're not gonna have the branding on it. You're just gonna see this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what's that.
Yeah, like we so far removed from this. Like, we probably won't be doing pastas, but you know, at the time, though, I thought it was gonna be fire. You know, because it's better than what I'm saying, like your average microwave pasta. But once again, that was coming off of what I'm saying, like I want to feed healthier options to my community. That's not the healthiest options, which this is one of the healthier options that you can get in a frozen dinner because it's not it don't have any artificial like preservatives in it. It's flash frozen, so that's the best, so it's made and then it's flash frozen and then it's gone. So it's nothing else in it to kind of, like keep it, preserved, other than the fact that it's frozen. So it was healthier at the time, but it's still like
it at this point in time, it doesn't connect close enough. It doesn't connect close enough to the story.
No, it makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but my last question, still going on, that y'all didn't even think about doing this before. Like, what as individuals? Because I believe in personal branding. Like, where do you guys individually see yourselves doing on top of the Black Bread Co? Like, do y'all have something coming up? Is this something that, I'm going back into the entertainment? No, I'm going back into construction on top of like, where do you see each of you from a personal brand standpoint happening?
Yeah, for me, personally, I believe strongly in digital marketing and building personal brands. So again, going back to the beginning of this story, even just using those skills toward this company, I really do want to further that and help other people build on things that they've been able to create. I know I've been doing like consultations with. I got a few people that I know that are chefs that want to build their personal brand. Like, so it's like, yo, let's actually structure you getting into cookbooks and having digital products and things online. You know what I mean? I have somebody else that I'm working with that's into personal development. So, what are some things that you can offer even online and ways you can actually bring more audience and scale your business versus, like I said, with the chef, for example, versus you having to go to an event and cook all the time. That's great. That's your passion. But that's, you trading time for money versus being able to actually monetize and scale that way. So that's a passion of mine: digital marketing and personal branding.
Yeah, and for me, it's definitely real estate. And it's physical real estate as well as digital real estate. That I'm extremely interested in. That's my passion. And from building houses to rehabbing houses and building buildings from the ground up. I think I'm definitely going back into that direction. And the same situation. Like I don't see myself necessarily as a teacher to teach people real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like I leave that up to, so my boy Jamal King, man, shout out to 9 to 5 Millionaire.
Facts.
But for me, I would show people how to do new construction, if they was, extremely interested, but I'm an introvert, so for me, I don't want to be around a lot of people like that, personally. I just kind of like doing my thing. And that's one thing I loved about real estate. I build it. And then other than like my contractors and my realtor, I'm not around the people. I'm not even around the people who buy the house. I don't have to deal with them directly. And for me, that's really more so my strong suit. I'm going.
Wow. Yeah, I noticed you guys started with, or from the very beginning, you made giving back part of the model, right? Especially with the business that you have. Most people who have that kind of business, they're so caught up in what they're doing, they don't really think about a university or a podcast or wanting to give back to their communities. Can you talk about why that was important?
For me, it gives me the opportunity to find substance in what I do. So regardless of what it is, whether it's bread, whether it's marketing, whether it's real estate, it's really about helping people and serving people. I can, if I can attach myself to that, to giving, to serving, then I can do it when it's difficult, when it's hard. Because like Mark was saying about our journey, it's like you get punched, man. You get punched, and whatever you're doing, you're gonna take a lot of hits. So one thing that I have experienced, even specifically with the Black Bread Company, for example, is that the more we give, or the more, like, we got different partnerships with organizations, or churches, things like that. The more we give within our business, the more our business is actually blessed, and the more people, once again, people can see that within your story, and people attach themselves to the purpose that's in your story because it resonates with them for whatever reason. So I think it's a very, very large component in any type of business, any type of brand you're building, to actually give, and it's good vibes around it. It's a good feeling.
And for me, it's all about giving the resources. In every aspect of my life, one thing I always lacked was resources. I had to figure out everything the hard way. You know what I'm saying? I had to bump my head a lot. I had to do a lot of failures and fail a lot of my life to learn what not to do. So for me, the Blackberry University, if anything else I can leave, would be a resource, a place that you could come and just figure out what it is that you want to do, or even just sometimes figure out what your passion is. It might not have nothing to do with bread, cooking, or products, but it's like, if you just need resources to figure out how to go get money, how to do a fundraise, how to raise capital, where do you go for banks? What I'm saying, can you get a loan? Can you get this? How do you get your credit up? How do you build your credit? All these things that, I know and I have done and I'm doing, if I can share that with individuals to help, then that's what I would like to do. I feel like that's one thing that our community is lacking, is resources, obviously.
Facts. All right, this is my last question. Normally we do 3, but it's 2, y'all, so we're gonna do 2 each. What are your favorite top branding or business books? You could only pick 2. Each of y'all could only pick 2 branding or business books that has completely influenced what you're doing right now.
I was gonna say, you know what? It's hard for me to say that, because I'll be more so like, you can give me like, I'll pick some people. I really dived into 50 Cent.
Yep.
And Rick Ross.
Yeah, Rick Ross' book was hard.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
And for me, I would say, as far as branding, to be honest, if y'all not, and it's not a book, so excuse me for that, but if y'all not in deeper than the brand Discord,
we there.
Y'all losing right there.
We there.
I mean, I'm not even just trying to do a shameless plug because we on here, but like, as far as branding particularly, like, that helped me a lot. And the things that I've seen, it's actually just confirmed, because I'm like, yep, we done that. Yep, we done that. Yep, we use that. Oh, we don't use this piece of AI yet, so let's incorporate that. And I feel, because I'm not the branding marketing guy. He is. Mm-hmm. I'm more of, the vision and let's get it done, type guy. So that, I would say that. And then as far as like a book that just really, really revolutionized the way I think, is Think and Grow Rich. I think Think and Grow Rich, really changed, my outlook very early on. I probably read that book, sometime when I was in high school, and I read it throughout my life, and I keep picking that book up, because when you can control your thoughts and realize how powerful your thoughts are, and realize who you are, then I feel like anything that you really put your mind to, you can actually achieve it.
Dope.
Well, listen, man, I'm going to go on record and just make a bold statement and say this is probably like top 5 best episodes we've ever done. And we've done about 150 of these.
Wow. That's
with
crazy,
big names. With big names.
We've done a lot of episodes. But nah, man, we really appreciate you guys' transparency, your humility, and just openness to share your journey and all that you're working on. I think it's a phenomenal mission. and it's so unique that it's just the beginning. And of course, I'm sure you all understand that. But yeah, I just wanted to extend my thanks, man. Say it publicly first and foremost. Thank you all for getting on here and just rocking with us, I should say.
And I'm
Man,
mad
thank you.
that it's already over an hour. I'm like, I don't know
Right,
where this time went. This is
Right, that's
crazy.
crazy.
We may have to have a conversation in the after show or something. This is
Right.
wild. But no, we got to give you your flowers. What you've done, not only for the culture, but just like the mission. Literally the mission of like, you know, I don't see nothing black for bread. Hello, this is what we're gonna do today. And you down? Well, all right. I didn't do nothing with bread before, but I do know marketing and branding. So let's go.
Exactly.
That alone is just so encouraging, because it's like you don't need to know anything about a specific niche. You just have to have the passion and like the genuine desire to do it. And y'all guys showed that. And so super flowers to you. Normally we let Moose do the final words, but let the people know about the university and then where people can find you at, and then one bar. Y'all were saying bars before. Y'all were saying bars before this thing. I need a bar to end the joint. So the university, what is all that about? Where they could find you, and the final words, aka the bars you were saying before this. You feel me?
Yo, well, shout out to the people, man. Blackberry University, blackberryuniversity.com and Blackberry University everywhere. Really just is our connection to the people. Again, those resources that you may have. I consider it even retail therapy, so to speak, where it's like, if you have a brand, if you have a business that you're working on, that you're building, just having that place and that space that you can go to as a resource. And to be honest, we even do it on a personal level. I still get DMs, I still get messages from people, and sometimes it's even off the books. I help people in any way. We help people in any way that we can. And that's really the most important thing about the university. So it's just a community of creatives that just being willing to think outside the box and actually, you know, be impactful in our communities, within our businesses, you know what I mean? Being mission minded and mission based. So for me, I would say, man, it starts with what's inside of you, you know, regardless of your surroundings, regardless of, you know, what you may have or what you may not have. If you really just look deep inside yourself, man, you have all you need. And just require yourself to use all that you have, and you'll get there. We'll get there. It's a journey, you know. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Y'all know how that goes. So just keep going. If you haven't started, get started. And if you're tired, keep going. Hold on, hang in there. You know what I mean? We're there. Let's get it.
Hey, and I'm gonna say real quick, man, build a brand, because at the end of the day, nothing beats the brand.
Facts.
You cannot beat the brand. You know what I'm saying? So build your brand so that you can be unstoppable and you can go build something that no one can beat. I'm telling you, just like that. You know.
This is fact. Wait, you didn't tell them where to find you. You tell them that. We got to end with that.
Oh, okay.
Blackberry University, blackberryuniversity.com.
Yep. Yeah, blackberryuniversity.com. The Black Bread show, you know, quick plug to the podcast.
Talk about the podcast.
You can also find me personally at, I think I'm Mark V. Edmond right now.
And I'm Jamel Lewis Music.
How do you not know your username? Can we talk about that? How do you not know your brand?
I used to be. I just switched it. I know that's
know your brand, people. Know your brand.
Right. Let me find out he had a crazy
I was Mark
username.
V success for a long time, and I wanted to kind of get out of the Mark V success situation, and I'm moving to Mark V Edmond because it's so much more than success, you know. And I just wanted to make sure that that people know that about me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of times people get on these podcasts and they just want to throw success and all this stuff in your face, you know. But listen, man, if you got a roof over your head, you take care of your kids, your wife, your family, y'all eating every night, bro, that's success, you know. And don't let nobody tell you anything different, you know what I'm saying? So build the brand, build your family, bro, because even your family is your brand. Because if I see your kids out here looking crazy, I'm gonna think you crazy. You know what I'm saying? If I see your significant other looking crazy, you know, that's a reflection of you. You know what I'm saying? That's your mirror. That's your image. You know, so so Mark V. Edmond.
Jamel Lewis Music.
I love it.
That was the first person that had a whole bar for his username. You know what I mean?
Yeah, straight up, man. You got put thought in everything, man.
Yeah, we are out. We appreciate you guys. Listen, all flowers to you. Go follow them. And Moose, we'll just end it like how we normally do. You know what we're gonna say.
Peace, y'all.
Holla.
Peace out.
Holla.